Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leigh Fuge, and in this video today we're going to be talking about the NUX Steel Singer Drive. As you can see from looking at the pedal, the NUX Steel Singer Drive is obviously based on a Dumble style amp. Now this pedal, I don't actually even know if it's out yet because I can't actually find anywhere that currently has them in stock. There's a couple of places online that seem to be either sold out or in some kind of weird pre-order stage. It seems to retail for around about $50. So if you can find one, that's the sort of price point you can expect to pay for it. Obviously check with your local NUX dealer, maybe it's something they have to specifically order in. My friend Michael over at NUX very kindly sent me this pedal and I was very excited when he told me that it was a Dumble style, and obviously you can see they've gone with the right kind of aesthetic there. They've gone for the silver colour with the Dumble style knobs and the Dumble style font as well, which is really cool. The Steel Singer Drive is based very loosely off the Steel String Singer, which is the classic Dumble amp that people like Stevie Ray Vaughan and John Mayer used. So we should expect to hear some of those kind of tones from this pedal. We're talking some of those low gain, very chimey, just overdriven tones, right up to some sort of throaty, cranked overdriven tones. The interesting thing with this is going to be seeing how much this can really stack up to the tone we expect it to stack up to, because obviously anyone who knows about Dumble amps will know that those things sell for 5-figure numbers every day of the week. There's not many of them around, they're super rare, and they're very, very coveted in the guitar community. So can a pedal that I think retails around about the $50 mark, can that hit the same sort of tone? It's going to be an interesting experiment, I think, to find out if we can get some of those Mayer or Stevie Ray kind of tones from a $50 pedal. The pedal itself is very simple in its design. It's just got 3 knobs: volume, gain, and filter. The filter knob is sort of like a high frequency control, so there's not a 3-band EQ here. It's just basically the more we push this, the brighter the signal gets. The volume obviously controls the volume that we hear, and the gain is the amount of gain. I love the look of these Dumble style knobs, but my only criticism is they do wobble a little bit. Now, originally I thought that was because the knobs weren't secured properly, because there's a little sort of grub screw in there that you can tighten the knob onto the pot, but actually it's because the pots are actually those plastic shaft ones, which I'm really not a fan of, purely from a durability point of view. If I was gigging with this thing, I'd be worried about stamping on it too hard in case I broke the plastic pot. But if you're careful or not going to be gigging with this thing, the plastic pot won't be that much of an issue, because really the fact that it's plastic doesn't affect how it sounds, or at least it shouldn't. So let's plug this thing in and see if we can get some Dumble style tones on one hell of a low budget. For this video, I'm going to be using my early 1980s Tokai Strat style guitar. All of my favorite Dumble style players use Strats. We'll test it with some humbuckers later on in the video as well. I'm plugged into the Blackstar Studio 10 6L6, which is mic'd with a Lewitt Audio LCT 440 condenser mic. All the reverb you're hearing is coming from the amp, which is running completely clean. I've also got a TC Electronics Hall of Fame Mini here on my desk pedal board, just in case I want to add a little bit of additional reverb to the sound as well. So let's start off by setting everything to 12 o'clock and turning the pedal on. So I'm going to go through a couple of different pickup positions as I play as well. I'm going to start off with my favorite position, which is the neck and the middle at the same time. So it's quite a nice throaty kind of overdrive. So let's take this into some lower gain sounds now. So I'm going to put the gain on 1/4 of the way up, push the volume up a touch, and we'll brighten the signal up a little bit as well. So let's take the gain down even lower now and see if we can get a much cleaner Dumble style tone. I'm going to dull the filter off a little bit as well. It's a bit too bright for my taste. So even on the lower gain settings, there's still a really nice slight breakup to the tone there. I really like the sound of that, actually. Let's actually push the gain up now to just above halfway and see what this sounds like. I'm going to back off the volume a little bit as well, just in case it gets a bit too loud. Start on the neck pickup as well. So some really nice amp-like breakup tones there. It's still a little bit bright on the bridge pickup, so I'm going to back off the filter to about 1/4 of the way up now and see if we can tame that brightness a little bit. So let's start with the bridge pickup. Filter control is very responsive. It can really tame those pickups actually. So with the filter control still pretty low, let's hear the neck pickup in action. And that's pushed the gain a bit more. So let's go up to maybe just over 3/4 of the way up, not quite full. I will start with the neck pickup as well. Just for fun, let's go all the way up now to full gain. You can probably expect this to get pretty noisy because you're using single coils. I'm going to bump the filter back up to halfway. So now let's hear the pedal with some humbuckers. So I've switched now to my Shergold Provocateur. I've gone back to everything on the pedal being straight up at 12 o'clock. So here's how it sounds with some humbuckers. So we get a little bit more breakup than we did with the Strat because the humbuckers are going to hit the front end of the pedal slightly harder. So I'm going to push the gain a bit more now, up to 3/4 of the way. So now with the humbuckers, let's go all the way up on the gain and we'll bring the filter down a little bit just to take some of the harsh edge off. Let's see what that filter does all the way up full. So let's get an idea of how bright this pedal can go. Definitely way too bright for my taste. I prefer it just below halfway, about there. I actually quite like it with the gain up full with humbuckers. I think it works really well. Let's actually get some super low gain sounds just to wrap up. So I'm going to push the volume to about 3/4 of the way up. The gain is about 1/4 of the way up. And the filter is sort of between 1/4 of the way up and halfway up. Come back to the Strat very briefly now just for one more thing. So obviously when anyone thinks of a Dumble style pedal or an amp, the instant thing they try and go after is like a John Mayer or Stevie Ray kind of tone. So let's see if we can dial something like that in. So super low gain, probably even clean, to be honest. So let's actually have the gain on 0 there. Still got the volume on like 3/4 the way up because we want a bit of a boost. Now I'm back on single coils, so I don't want my filter sort of really up here. So let's just start with it just below halfway. So we want it to be bright enough, but obviously not cutting. I'm going to lose the pick for this as well. I'm playing with my fingers to get that real John Mayer kind of vibe. So again, position 4, which is the neck and the middle position on a Strat. And also I've added a bit more reverb here. So I've got the reverb on the amp running, but I've also got the TC Electronics Hall of Fame Mini sort of just above 1/4 of the way up, just for a bit more space. I actually think this reverb's got a really nice low end as well. So if you want to get that John Mayer-ish tone, it's never going to sound exactly like what you're after there, but you know, you can kind of get close. You can get in the right ballpark. And like I said at the start of the video, this is around about $50. So it's not a $40,000 Dumble. It's a pretty affordable pedal, but you know, if it gets you that little bit closer to that sound you're after, it's $50 well spent, I think. So there you go, guys. There is the Steel Singer Drive by NUX. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys thought of this Dumble style drive. I actually think it sounds pretty good. There's a lot of usable tones in there. It's not super hard to dial the tone you like. It sort of does everything from clean, as you just heard, right up to a not a heavy overdrive, but it's a good kind of punchy, throaty kind of overdrive, perfect for playing blues. You could probably stretch the classic rock if you put some humbuckers in front of it as well, but with a Strat, it retains a lot of clarity, which I really like. I like the overall kind of vibe of this drive pedal. I think it feels quite nice as well. It's got a very amp-like kind of responsive feel. Under the fingers, it feels pretty good. So it's definitely worth checking out, I think. And for that kind of price point, I mean, you'd be crazy not to try and get a little bit of that Dumble action for less than $100, I think. Don't forget to let me know down below in the comments what you guys thought of the sound of this pedal. Like I said, I think it's great. I think for the money, it's incredible. I mean, there's not many pedals that get you in that Dumble kind of ballpark for this price point. Most of them go upwards of sort of $200 plus. This sits perfectly for anyone who's just trying to get their first taste of that kind of style. So check it out if you can find one. I'm not really sure when they're out, if they're out, or an exact price. I'm just going by a couple of different things I found online. But all I know is this is fairly new. They sent it to me over the summer, so it's got to be pretty new, right? So I'm sure you'll find one at some point, but check with your local NUX dealer, and I'm sure one will crop up somewhere along the line. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please go and hit that subscribe button, because you guys subscribing to the channel, if you haven't already done so, really helps me to keep on growing it. And I really appreciate all of you guys coming along, getting involved in the comments, and having a good time. Don't forget to let me know down below what you do think. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching as always.